So do you remember how to count from 0 to 10?
Yeah, let me try to find this though. Oh shoot, didn't know what I wanted to do. It's window, that's what I want to do. It's صفر واحد shoot, is it اثنان ثلاثة أربعة خمسة ستة سبعة ثمانية تسعة ثمانية and then تسعة and then Ashura.
Good. Can you go from 11 to 19?
Okay, so that's where, let me think. It's the 11 is a little bit weird. It's sure it's something. It's not wahid. It's something like ahid.
Good. Ahadashar.
12 is Ithnashar. Let's see. Oh, now I've gotten 3 now. What was that? I just said 3. Wahid, Ithna. Oh, I've now forgotten 3.
Thalatha Ashar.
Ashar. Is it Arba? Is Arbata Ashar?
Arbata Ashar.
Arbata. Hamzata Ashar. Sittata Ashar. Sabata Ashar. I'm not Thamaniyata Ashar. I don't remember that one. Okay, that's right. Thamaniyata Ashar. I always want to say instead of Thamaniyata Ashar. Tisata Ashar, and then 20. I don't remember.
Okay, 20 is Ishrun. Do you know 20 to 100? Did you get a chance to look at that tape?
No, I did not get.
Okay, let's review that quickly for you then. If you want to go to the St. Charles site,
okay,
the Canvas site, and let's see. Oh, wrong one. Pull up the numbers from, I think it's to 11 to 100. I think it is. Let's see. Let me tell you as soon as I get there. Because we're going to be using numbers again when we start telling time, so you need to know the numbers.
Oh, that's right. Quizlet numbers. Yeah. Numbers 10 to 100. There it is.
Yeah. Okay.
I did look at it once, but I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Sure.
YouTube, but is there Quizlet numbers?
Yeah, Quizlet. Love the Quizlet.
Yeah, Quizlet actually is really nice. Ashrun, no, there's Ashrun is 20.
Okay, so Ashrun, here, I'll go over them with you, and we'll talk about how to do that. Okay, so Ashrun is 20. Now, if you want to say 21, actually, you say 1 and 20. So you say Wahed wa Ashrun.
Wahid wa Ishrun.
Wahed wa Ashrun, 1 and 20. And then Ithnan wa Ashrun.
Ithnan wa Ishrun. Makes sense.
So 2 and 20. Then Thalatha wa Ashrun.
And they don't, it's actually just straight up, there's no, like Thalatha. There's not the Thalathata, it's just Thalatha.
No. Yeah, that's only for 11 to 19 that you have that.
Okay.
Like that. So when you get to 20, then if 21, it's 1 and the number. So Wahed wa Ashrun, Ithnan wa Ashrun, Thalatha wa Ashrun, Arba wa Ashrun,
Hamza wa Ashrun. وعشرون.
ستة وعشرون.
سبعة وعشرون.
سبعة وعشرون. ثمانية
وعشرون.
وعشرون.
تسعة وعشرون.
تسعة وعشرون. And then we get to 30, which is ثلاثون.
ثلاثون. Okay.
ثلاثون.
See that?
Okay. And then the same thing. واحد وثلاثون. اثنان وثلاثون.
ثلاثة
وثلاثون.
أربعة
وثلاثون.
خمسة
وثلاثون.
ستة
وثلاثون.
سبعة
وثلاثون. ثلاثون.
Oh, ثلاثون. Oh.
ثلاثون with sa. Okay. So ستة وثلاثون. سبعة وثلاثون. ثمانية وثلاثون. تسعة وثلاثون. Okay, and then we get to 40. أربعون.
Okay.
أربعون. Okay, أربعون is 40. So you see the pattern. So let's just go from 40 up to 100 just by tens. So أربعون is 40. أربعون.
خمسون.
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 خمسون. خمسون is 50. ستون. 60.
سبعون.
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 Okay. So there's kind of
Sab'un. Yeah, there's an ayin in there. Sab'un. Sab'un is 70. Samanun.
Thamanun. Okay.
Samanun. Samanun. 80. Samanun. Samanun. 80.
Thamanun. And then
Tisun.
Tisun.
Tisun. 90. And mi'a.
Say again?
Mi'a.
What is the first
mi'a. Meme.
Meme. Oh, mi'a.
So meme, and then it's Hamza ala kursi, Hamza on a seat, and tamarbuta. Mi'a. 100.
Mi'a
100. Okay. Okay, let's try it. I'm going to start with 10 and count by tens. Okay, so just repeat after me. Ashura. Ishrun. Salathun. Arbon. Khamsun. Sittun. Sabon. Samanun. Tisun. Mi'a. Okay, again. Ashura. Ishrun. Salathun. Arbon. Khamsun. Sittun. Sab'un. Thamanun. Tisun. Mi'a. Okay, good. Okay, so you'll just want to practice counting from 0 to 100. And remember that when you get to 21, it's 1 and 20 and so forth. Okay? Okay, so our topic this week actually is family. So we're going to go back to family members. And this is in week 12. So if you open the Quizlet site, did you get a chance to watch Monday's class or no?
No, it was.
No. Okay.
I got back and then we all were.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so open the one that says Quizlet family members.
Okay, got it.
And we'll go over what the family relations are. There's actually a really cute little song that will help to kind of cement all that. We can't do it online because I don't have the rights to it, but you have the link, so you can listen to it over and over and sing it. It's very cute. So okay. So the first one is Ibn.
Ibn
means son. Ibn. Next, Om. Om means mother. Om. Ab. Ab means father. Ibna. Ibna means daughter. Walid.
So Ibn and Ibna then.
Ibn and Ibna. Okay, next. Walid. Walid is another word for father. So Ab or Walid, the same meaning. They're interchangeable. Okay.
Yeah, usually when they have they isn't like Ab, or it's part of a name, or Ibn or something like that's often part of a name, or Ab or Ibn.
Yeah, sometimes they actually will call, as far as names go, like a man or a woman will be called by the name of their first child. Typically, if it's a boy, it would be, yeah. So it's really interesting, actually, in this culture, in Saudi Arabia anyway. I don't know if it goes for all of the Arab countries, but in Saudi Arabia, it's like really like culturally inappropriate to call a woman by her given name. So that's kind of like kept as a secret. Yeah, you never like give a woman's name. It's changing, but in the past it just was never done. So you would be like the mother of whatever. So.
Yeah, and I know that.
And that's how people are typically referred to.
And I thought wasn't the Palestinian, it wasn't Arafat, but the guy after him. I forgot what it is, but I think he was often called father of Ab.
Yeah, actually, Yasser Arafat was often called Abu Ammar. So father of Ammar. Yeah. So that's really common all over the Arab world. But the thing about not saying, I think it's the same pretty much all over actually, but it certainly is true here in Saudi Arabia. It's still very culturally inappropriate. It's also culturally inappropriate to ask someone like how your wife is or how your family is. We just don't do that.
Really?
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
It's a cultural
really
norm
different.
in the U.S.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It seems strange not to ask, coming from an American background, but here it's really like invasive. And you really get very little information in a lot of cases about somebody because they never talk about their family. So anyway.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Walid. Walid means father. And then Walida. Walida means mother. Walid and
is it more like Ab and is more like a informal, like dad, and Walid
actually no, they're both equally formal and they're both equally appropriate. The colloquial one would be like Baba and Mama.
I see.
Yeah, so that's colloquial, but Ab and and Walid and Walida are both perfect modern standard Arabic. Okay. Next, Khal. Khal. Now, something else you'll notice is that relations are much more specific.
Yeah, no kidding. Maternal uncle.
Yeah. So, and you're not considered related if you're not a blood relative. So, like for instance, in America, if your uncle marries a woman, you call her aunt. But here, it would be just the wife of my uncle. So you don't get the status of being a relative unless you're truly a blood relative.
Really? Wow, interesting.
Yeah. So it's all about blood relations. It's really important here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so we have Khal is a maternal uncle. Khal. So it would be your mother's brother, maternal uncle. Okay. Khala. Khala.
Khala.
Khala, a maternal aunt. So it's your mother's sister. On the other side, we have Am.
That's interesting.
Am is a paternal uncle, so it's your father's brother. Okay. And then Amma is a paternal aunt, so it's your father's sister. And the reason, one of the many reasons why relations are so important is in the Quran, when it comes to inheritance, it's really specific. Okay, so the important reason. Another one, and Trina and I were talking about this, is that still in this society, you tend to marry your cousins and even your first cousin. So how you're related to someone is really important. And the most cherished marriage, honestly, still in the society, is to marry someone from your father's side. They call it Ibn Am or Ibn Amma, but preferably Ibn Am. That would be the best when you marry your father's brother's child. Okay. Yeah. And again, it's because of the assets in the family. And in this society, up until recently, let's say 5 years ago, prior to that, really, you would have no contact with members of the opposite sex except your cousins, only up to a certain age. And still is segregated, males and females. Like in my house here, we have a section just for women. If I have women guests come to the house, they come through a separate entrance and they go into the women's salon. And if men come in, they go into another entrance and go into the men's salon. So it's completely separate. And even during family events, like during Eid, the women come in one side and the men come in another side. And then they just, when they're ready to go, the wife will call the husband or the husband will call the wife and say, okay, get your abaya on, let's go. And then they leave. So typically you'll never see the male members of the family after a certain age. It's like after 12, they're separated. So up
even
until that age.
So even at family gatherings, the older, I mean, if you're younger kids, it's okay. But when family gatherings, there really aren't gender family gatherings. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're completely separate. Even with a wedding in Saudi Arabia, he'll have a separate wedding for the females of the family and then another wedding party for the males. And you don't even see each other. They're totally different. Sometimes even on different nights. So it's still completely segregated. So for that reason.
So when
Go ahead.
So Ali, Muhammad's son-in-law, I think I read somewhere that he was also a cousin or something. Was he related to Muhammad as well, if I recall?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a relative.
So that's actually, so he was a son-in-law and cousin too. And that is really not that unusual. I thought that sounded unusual to me when I read that, but I guess it isn't that unusual.
Yeah, it's very common actually. It's not marrying your cousin is probably less common than marrying your cousin here. Still, even at this point, it's changing.
Really?
It's because now women are in the workforce and they're things are just changing
meeting people.
really quickly actually here. But like typically the way it was done prior would be like your mother, when it's time for you to get married, you would tell your mother, okay, I'm mom, I want to get married, find a nice girl for me. And she'd go, to the weddings and she'll see a pretty little young girl and she'll get a picture, and then she'll come back to the son and say, oh, well, I saw this girl and she's really nice and she comes from a good family and I think you'll like her. And sometimes she'll say, here's her picture. Some families don't even show a picture. And they just like depend on the mother to find the spouse for them. And I've known people in the past that have not even seen the person they marry until their wedding night.
Wow.
And then they get married.
Interesting. Oh.
Yeah, so it's really different. It's really different. But for that reason, it's important to know exactly how somebody's related to you. And it's nice because, like I said, up until like about the age of 12, you can mingle with your cousins. So you know your cousins and you have a similar history. And if there's a problem with the marriage, you can go back and the family's there to really help you work things out. And there's like a real important reason to not divorce that person because she's part of the family or he's part of the family. So it's a good way to keep the family together. And it worked really well up until recently, and now things are kind of falling apart. It started probably with the with satellite TV and people starting to see how there's a different way of life out there. It's cool, and then they try it, and then all of a sudden you've got problems, or even like a man who prior had never seen any other woman, except his mother and his sisters, and now all of a sudden, they see all these movie stars on TV or whatever, and it just changes society.
Yeah, I think television is definitely really
yeah.
So I wonder if there's a backlash in Saudi Arabia, because I know whenever you have a push for change, you often have a lot of the more conservatives feel like they're and feel like their society is changing and react negatively to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension still in society. They're really pushing towards modernization and kind of changing. I think it's probably too fast. I don't know. There probably will be a major backlash after a while because already the divorce rate is like skyrocketing. It's just crazy. And I mean, these kids spend thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands in some cases, of riyals to get married. And, they're divorced within a year. So you have a lot of like major societal problems at this point.
Now those divorces are in the traditional marriages or in the non-traditional ones that are
in both. Usually in traditional marriages at this point, they'll marry someone and it's like they don't like them or they don't get along with them and they won't put up with it anymore. I mean, in the past, you really didn't have a choice. Your parents would put pressure on you. When you married someone, you were supposed to stay married. But now, with like women getting out and working and being able to support themselves, that adds a lot of pressure on a marriage because all of a sudden, she doesn't like the husband, she can go out and support herself. Whereas in the past, when a woman couldn't work, then she had no option really. Either she would, stay with the husband or she'd have to go back and live with her family. So there really was no other option. So
and is the multiple wives, is that among the wealthy who can afford to have house? Is it?
It happens quite a bit actually. I know quite a few people that actually have multiple wives. So they always say like, oh, it's not really done, but it is done. It is quite common. And unfortunately,
do they have separate households, separate houses?
They're supposed to, yeah. The worst thing almost it would be better if they all live together, because what tends to happen is that you'll have like a husband who will say, oh, I'm going on a business trip. And instead of going on his business trip, he goes with his other wife. And then the first wife may not even know about the second wife or the third wife. They're not required to tell them.
Oh.
So,
okay.
yeah. So they can have, like, for instance, an entire family. And sometimes, literally, people don't find out until after, like, the person passes away. And then they have to divide the estate. And then all of a sudden, the percentage that's supposed to go to the first wife's family is all of a sudden divided in half and goes to the first wife and the second wife.
Oh, man.
Or the third or fourth wife, so that it can cause some major issues. And then after the husband's dead, I mean, you can't even resolve those issues. So,
right.
Yeah, it's different. It's different.
So
I've learned a lot being here, let me tell you. Wow.
Well, I would think that might, I guess for the woman, they wouldn't have that option, but for the husband, that would be a way out. You could be the one your mom wanted you to, but then you could actually, have a relationship with the person you really wanted to have a relationship, but that would also put a strain on the official marriage or whatever too. So I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, well, it's required that, like, if you spend like one night with one wife, you have to spend another night with the other wife. It doesn't necessarily have to be like today and tomorrow, but just the number of have to be equal. So, I mean, either if he doesn't tell her that he's got another wife, then basically he's lying to her the entire time, which is never good for a marriage. So,
no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's done though.
So that's interesting. And I just didn't realize. I'm looking at cousins too. That there you have the cousins on the paternal side and the maternal side, and so I guess the same.
And it's still done a lot. There's actually, and of course, because you're marrying first cousins, there have been genetic issues, of course.
Right.
So the government now requires that all people that are planning to get married have extensive genetic testing done.
Oh.
But even when they have the results, like particularly in the Bedouin tribes, where it's still like you marry your cousin, that's just the way it is. Regardless of the reports, they still go ahead and get married anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. Different world.
Yeah.
So anyway. I could go on.
Yeah.
So
wow,
and Amma are your paternal uncle and paternal aunt. Okay. Now the next several. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The next 8 are all what in English we call cousins. Okay, they're all cousins.
Right.
Okay, but it's just really specific. So the first one is Ibn Am. Ibn Am is the son of a paternal uncle. Okay? Ibn Am. So that's on your father's side. The first word, Ibn or Ibna, tells you if it's a male cousin or a female cousin.
Oh, I see. Right.
Okay. And then the second word tells you if they're on your father's side or your mother's side.
That makes sense.
And then if it has a ta marbuta at the end, that means it's the female on your mother's side or the female on your father's side. So either your mother's sister or your father's sister.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So like I said, the relations are very specific. So Ibn Am is the son of a paternal uncle or cousin. Ibnet Am. Ibnet Am. Ibnet Am is the daughter of a paternal uncle. Cousin. Then Ibn Khal. Ibn Khal is the son of a maternal uncle.
Ibn Khal.
Ibn Khal. And then Ibnet Khal.
Ibnet Khal.
Ibnet Khal is the daughter of a maternal uncle.
Ibnet Khal. Khal.
Ibnet Khal. Ibnet Khal.
Khal.
Okay, then we have Ibn Amma.
Ibn Kham. Ibn Amma.
Ibn Amma.
Amma.
Ibn Amma is the son of a paternal aunt. Okay, still a cousin, but the son of a paternal aunt. Then Ibnet Amma is the daughter of a paternal aunt.
Ibnet Amma.
Ibnet Amma. And then Ibn Khala.
Ibn Khala.
Khala. Ibn Khala is the son of a maternal aunt. Ibn Khala.
Ibn Khala.
And Ibnet Khala.
Ibnet Khala.
Ibnet Khala is the daughter of a maternal aunt.
Okay, so maternal uncle is Khal. Maternal uncle is Khal, and maternal aunt is Khala, I guess.
Khal and Khala, and then Am and Amma on the other side.
Ibn Amma.
Okay. Just always remember that the first word, Ibn or Ibna, tells you if your cousin is male or female. That's the determining factor on their gender. Okay. Okay, next on the list we have the words for grandmother, for grandfather and grandmother, and there's only one set. They don't distinguish between different sides. So it's Jed and Jeddah. Jed for grandfather, Jed, and Jeddah.
Jeddah.
Jeddah, grandmother.
Okay.
Next. Zoj.
Zoj. Zoj. Oh, that's right.
Zoj means husband. Zoj. Zoj, husband. And wife is Zoja. Zoja.
Zoja. Zoja.
Zoj and Zoja.
Zoj and Zoja.
Next, Usra.
Usra. Usra.
Usra is the nuclear family. So the mother, the father, and the kids. Usra. Usra, the nuclear family. And Aila, the next one, Aila. Aila is the extended family. Aila. Up until, again, very recently, families tended to stay together. Some still do, but more and more they're becoming more like nuclear families. So you have people just all over the place. Like in my family here, we have people all over the place, all over the country. But in the olden days, like all of the family members used to stay together, usually in like one big house, and they kept building level upon level upon level as the family increased. So you'd have like your own special little apartment when you got married, and then you'd have your kids there and whatever. So everybody would stay together, but that really is changing a lot these days. So it's not so much like that.
In the U.S. too, more. I think in the West, you had you had a lot more living, if not in the same house, but certainly in this. So society's changing all over the place.
Yeah, societies are changing really, really fast. Okay, so the last two then are Ach. Ach means brother. Ach. And Ocht. Ocht means sister. Ocht. Ach.
Ochti is sister, right?
If you say Ochti, Ochti means my sister, and Achi, my brother. Okay, so there's a possessive pronoun on the end of the word. Akhi, my brother. Ukhti, my sister.
Is that pretty much how you use most words? So if it's like Sadiq, it's Sadiki, and generally it's much common. How you say ma?
I'm having a little problem hearing you today for some reason. But
is that common to have the e the like Sadiki, and is that pretty much
yes,
how you do it?
Yes. So we'll be going over those. Actually, you have a worksheet with that online, so you can kind of look over how that's done. But you do add a possessive pronoun suffix to the end of the word that you're modifying. Okay. So, okay, let's go on to. We can go back to the website. I actually put up a handout. It should be, I think, at the end of the family section with some dialogues in it. I forget what I named it though. Family conversations. Yeah.
Okay, it looks like it's number 4. Or is this new?
Okay, so we'll start with the first dialogue. It's a dialogue between Ahmed and Badr, and I'm going to read it to you first. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Hada akhi huwa mudarris. Ahlan wa sahlan. Hada sadiqi huwa muhandis. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ma salama. Ma salama. Okay, so we have Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Wa alaikum assalam, and upon you peace. So the reply to Assalamu alaikum. And then we have Hada akhi, this is my brother. Hada akhi. Hada akhi, this is my brother. Huwa mudarris. Huwa mudarris. Huwa means he, and mudarris means a teacher. So he is a teacher. This is my brother, he is a teacher. And then ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Hada sadiqi. Hada sadiqi. I don't know if you can hear me because you're really breaking up. I hope you can hear me.
Yes. I can hear you pretty well.
Hada sadiqi means this is my friend. This is my friend, a male friend. Hada sadiqi. So the word for friend is sadiq. Sadiq. And you add that ya on the end for my. So sadiqi. Sadiqi, my friend. This is my friend. Huwa muhandis. Huwa muhandis. He is an engineer. He is an engineer. And then ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan means welcome. Ma salama, goodbye. Okay, so let's try this dialogue. I'm going to be Badr, and I'm going to be Al-Akh, and you're going to be Ahmed. So you begin.
Okay. Assalamu
Oh, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Try it again. Wa alaikum assalam. Good. Huwa mudarris. Ahlan wa sahlan. مهندس. أهلا وسهلا. مع السلامة. Okay, let's try it again. Same parts. Wa alaikum assalam. Well, I can't hear you at all. Okay, try that line again. I didn't hear you. أهلا وسهلا. أهلا وسهلا. مع السلامة. Okay, I guess we're about out of time. Let's talk about just the next dialogue. It's very similar to the first one, but here you have two females talking, and then you have al-ukht, which means the sister. Okay, and let me just read it to you, and I'll go over the words that are different from the first dialogue. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Hadihi ukhti. Hadihi ukhti means this is my sister. You'll notice that the word hada in the first dialogue and hadihi in the second dialogue both mean this, but one's masculine and one's feminine. So here we're talking about a sister, so we have to use the feminine one. So it's hadihi ukhti. Hiya, changed from huwa in the last dialogue. Tabiba, she is a doctor. She is a doctor. So this is my sister. Hadihi ukhti. Hiya tabiba, she is a doctor. Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Hadihi sadiqati. Hadihi sadiqati. The word for a female friend is sadiqa with tamarbuta at the end. So when we add a possessive pronoun suffix onto the word sadiqa, we have to change it physically to the letter ta. And then we add that possessive pronoun suffix. So it becomes hadihi sadiqati. Hadihi sadiqati. Hiya. Hiya means she is. Taliba. She is a student. Hiya taliba. She is a student. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. And then ma salama. Ma salama. Goodbye. Okay? So the new words there are, remember that hada and hadahi both mean this, but hada is masculine and hadahi is feminine. Okay? And then in this dialogue, we have ukhti. Ukhti means my sister. And we have hiya, which is the opposite of huwa. Huwa, he. Hiya, she. Hiya, tabiba. She is a doctor. And then hadihi sadiqati. Hadihi sadiqati. This is my female friend. Hiya taliba. She is a student. Okay? Any questions about those dialogues? Paul, can you hear me? Ooh, good. Okay. Wow, it's really hard. I really can't hear you. I'll put up the video so you'll actually have the entire dialogue so you can listen to it over and over again. Okay? Okay, well, have a good week, and I'll see you on next Monday, I guess, inshallah. Okay, ma salama.